Good Monday morning. All right, I just got to do something. Okay. Oh, that's terrible. It won't let me do something on this. And there is no way that I can do it. Oh well, not worried about it. Anyway, let's get all these pop-outs. And I gotta look at the weather over here, as it's raining right now. We might get some heavy rain, little heavy rain right now, but nothing, no severe weather. Not that I'm seeing. I went to bed really early last night. Still not feeling great. I'm actually going to go out to buy some medicine. What's good morning, Dagger? I'm doing the pop-outs now. I need Alka-Seltzer. Because whatever it is, it definitely has to do with something I ate. And it might have happened at Pine Bush at a pizzeria. Or the deli meats they had out for the event. Something got me messed up. I'm feeling a little better, but I definitely got to get some seltzer. And I'm going to take a look at the weather in a second. I think it's raining here right now. I'm waiting for the rain to end so I can go out early and get it over with, because I got to do shows later, but not feeling great, I can tell you that, but I got to do what I got to do. So this is the rain by us right now. Texas has a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings down here. So Texas, why is it saying here? This is the line they're concerned by me. I'm going to do that again. Oh, that was PA. This is the Texas one. Oh, that's nasty. Oh, that's a nasty looking line already in the morning. This early in the morning. Look at this. What's up, Ryan? How are you? Oh, that's right. It's Tuesday. I'm so screwed up. Good Monday morning. Oh, my God. I'm not changing the title. It's too late for that. It is Tuesday. I'm all messed up. It feels like Monday to me, because I didn't have no shows yesterday. It is Tuesday. Oh my gosh. Anyway, I'm not going to be on for long anyway. I'm just waiting for this weather. But look at the weather in Texas. And like I said, we got some weather going on here. The Albany radar is just not that good. Oh, that's worse, actually. Let me see if there's another radar I could use. This is too far south. I could actually hear it raining right now outside my house. I'm telling you, I am just not feeling well. It is what it is. All you can do is just keep on keeping on. Oh yeah, it's raining. So it should clear up within a half hour. Oh, I hope I feel better too, because I got to work later. And like I said, I got to go out. I'm just waiting for this rain to stop, because there'll be a window to go out in between the two lines. Because this is one line, there's another line. So it's like, day. Alexa, what's the weather for today?
Right now in Newburgh, it's 63 degrees Fahrenheit with rain. Today's forecast has lots of clouds and thunderstorms, with a high of 76 degrees and a low of 55 degrees.
So a lot of clouds and thunderstorms. That's what it just said. So it's not a nice day outside. But like I said, I've got to go on some errands. The best time to go to Walmart or to other stores is early in the morning here. Everybody's at work, school. It's not crowded. This is the time to go. So I'm going to leave like at about 9. It's 7:40 right now. So I still got time. 17 Celsius. Alexa, what is 17 Celsius to Fahrenheit?
17 degrees Celsius is 62.6 degrees Fahrenheit.
Alexa, what's the temperature?
Right now, it's 63 degrees Fahrenheit.
I'm right there with you.
Expect a high of 76 degrees.
We're the same temperature. You might be in Scotland, but here in the Hudson Valley, New York, it's the same temperature as it is where you are, Ryan. Which is pretty cool, actually. You're all the way on the other side of the pond. Matter of fact, I don't know if, well, let me see something. Oh, better yet, let me look at this, the models. I haven't done the models in like a week. What's that look like over there? Oh, nasty storm system. Okay. Let's look up here. Well, it looks like there's some rain. There is a storm system. I'm looking at Scotland right now. It's funny on the map. When I look at Scotland, it's just weird how they have it on windy. Oh my God. I'm trying to get a good view of it. There's Ireland. What's a city nearby you, Ryan? Don't give me your location. Just tell me like a known city near you. I'm just curious. The weather. Because I can search it. I'm windy. Or we'll just go anywhere. I just picked one. It's no big deal. Now I'm going to share the screen. I see Edinburgh. I just seen Edinburgh down here somewhere. I just seen it. Right here. Edinburgh. Did I say Edinburgh? Edinburgh. Right here. So there looks like there's some rain or moisture in the air. All right, let's look at the future model. So it looks like Wednesday afternoon. Could be a little nasty. Thursday. Then there's a low pressure here. More rain. You get a lot of rain there, huh? Or showers? My gosh, the low pressure's right over it. Saturday. Still unsettled. Sunday. Wow. Wow. My gosh. Do you guys get sun? Oh, there's a nice day. It's a high pressure. That's next week. My gosh. Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. Oh, I got to get that ready. I mean, I'm looking at your location generally, and it's like every day there's like moisture, unsettled weather. Look at this. I'm just skipping day by day. There's a little break, kinda. Even there, Sunday not so bad. Showery. Still. It's like you guys are getting a lot of moisture there. Still. And now a little break. There's a high pressure right over Scotland, pretty much, over the UK. Oh my gosh, does it like rain there every day? It is? That's Scotland for you? My gosh. Let's see right now. Well, it's not so bad. Let me look at the satellite. If I get it. Sometimes it's weird. Oh, it's nice. Nice. Okay. Not bad. Let's put this in motion. Not much movement there. At all. Not much movement there at all. Let's go to the future forecast. No precipitation. Actually, it looks pretty nice there. You're near the... What? Let me stop this. You are near... Oh, right here? It's nice. Okay. That's nice. It looks like it's going to be a nice day there. Actually, it's going to be nice there where you are today. As of what I see. Oh, there's going to be a tour, a haunted tour. I forgot. Oh my gosh, I did a show with Tony Rathman for his birthday, and he came on. What was it? Secret? Oh my gosh, I can't remember. Was it Secret Ireland? No, Secret Scotland. He's going to Scotland. Oh my gosh. And I don't think I have Tony Rathman's, the video of his birthday. Let me see. Maybe I do. It's possible. Can miss us because of the I got okay. Let me see if I don't know if I have it. I don't think so. I'm gonna see if I find it. It's the only way I'm gonna be able to show you. That's not a good idea. I gotta do Tony MP4. Oh, God only knows if I have this video. I think I streamed it on my YouTube channel, though. I'm pretty sure I did. I want to just show you something. That's why I'm doing it. Your videos. I'm sweating in here. I'm pretty sure I did. All right, we don't need that screen anymore. There it is, Tony Rathman's birthday celebration. I know he's going to Scotland because I asked him and I put up his information on the screen. Rick McCallum. That's it.
Thank you so much. And I want to say thank you to you for joining us today to Tony's special day.
Well, you know I wouldn't miss it.
I know, because I keep bugging you, right?
No, you didn't bug me.
What's new with Rick? Are you going overseas again? Scotland? What's on your radar?
Ireland in September.
He's going to Ireland. That's what it was.
I'm being the guest host for a tour to Ireland, an 8-day tour, and it's going to be fun.
Is it one of the castles, or what are you going to be? Where are you going to be going?
Oh, we're going all over the place. The two places that I'm really looking forward to, which I've been to before, and if you're into ghost hunting, you'll love this. It's the Hellfire Club and Leap Castle. You can't get better than that. I mean, I got great stuff at the Hellfire Club. But yeah, so I've been doing some ghost hunting. Kane and I did one at the Omen House a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you know that Kane Hodder, the guy who plays Jason, is my partner. One of my partners. Yeah. The other one is Ari Mihailov, who played Leatherface.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wow.
And then there's me with this face. But
Wow, cool. That
people
is
always ask me, they said, what's it like ghost hunting with Jason Voorhees and Leatherface? I said, well, I get them long,
Oh my
not
God.
Mansfield, Waverly, them long, dark hallways. And you're walking down and they're behind you and you're going, yeah, this is really cool. And then
Can you imagine that?
wait a minute. This isn't going to end good for me.
they're hardcore. They're hardcore into the paranormal research as well, then, huh?
What's that? I missed that.
They are very involved. They're really intense when it comes to paranormal researching themselves. The actors who portray Jason and Leatherface.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's my group.
Wow.
Hollywood Ghost Hunters. That's where the lead three in it. I do tell people, though, I say, what's it like ghost hunting with them? And I said, well, Kane and I have to walk on one side of the building in RA because he's just a little toddler at 6'5" and 350 pounds. We have to have him on the other side so we can balance the building. If we all walked on one side, it'd go.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was Ireland. I thought it might have been Scotland, Ryan. Well, he goes over there all the time. He's a pretty big paranormal researcher, Rick McCallum. And I believe it's the website I put it up during this. I'm pretty sure. I think it's Secret Ireland Tours. I forget the name of it. I don't know, but there's information out there. They're both involved in that. So pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool. It is humid here. Oh, it's gonna rain all day here. It's raining now. It's nasty here, and I'm not feeling.
Quite a few. So pleasure.
I'm not
to have
feeling
you
well
both
at
here.
all. Stomach bug. Something happened at Pine Bush. Something, and I was in pain yesterday. Oh my God! I'm still not great, but better. So I got to go to the store in a little while. When this little band passes through, that's my shot, because it's 2 lines. This is one little line, then there's another line with more stronger thunderstorms. So I got to take advantage of that when this one passes through. I'm out of here. I'm actually going to look. But Pine Bush went really good. It was the most successful Pine Bush to date. That's a pretty good thing. Considering the weather, too. Yeah, this band is right over me. There's another heavier band building up behind it. So this is what we're dealing with right now. Right here. This is going to move out, but this is setting up for stronger thunderstorms this afternoon. So I got to get out. As soon as this is over here, I got to get out of here. And it's moving to the northeast. It's moving upward. So it should be out of here right there. What time is that? Yeah, like in an hour. Then I got to get the heck out of here because stronger storms are going to develop. So there's my window. As soon as this is over, I'm getting in my car and I'm getting out of here. Oh, anyway. So I uploaded the Pine Bush thing on YouTube. If you want to see it, the presentations. The audio wasn't great, but you can make it out. It's not like it's impossible. I tried to hook up mics, but the feedback, it didn't work. The only way to make that work is if I would have brought all my equipment, and I wasn't doing that. There's no way. No way. I feel like I'm getting pain right now. Not good. Let me see.
Was
Let's put it.
So real quick, for you people on this half of the room, I have some really unfortunate news for you. I'm gonna stay on this side of the room. So if you guys would like to get up, gather your things and move.
Hold on.
So real quick, for you people on this half of the room, I have some really unfortunate news for you. I'm gonna stay on this side of the room. So if you guys would like to get up, gather your things and move to the other side of the room where Mary Ann is, I mean, she's the better looking of the duo. So you please do it now while they're doing the mic. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Right now, it's not like wonderful.
all right. Hey,
That actually works.
All right, so I'm gonna fast forward.
Okay, so as Mary Ann said, my name's Dave Rich. I was a police officer for 25 years in Gilbert.
There's Mark.
one studying it
Oh,
now.
Nick Pope.
To everyone doing
Martin Willis.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to say thank you. This is the third year I've been here, and this is definitely the biggest crowd. Really nice to see everyone come out.
Definitely the biggest crowd. It
So
was
our,
packed.
Our last speaker of the night, Nick,
It was packed.
if you've been watching TV at all,
Standing room. People were standing in the back of the room. It was insane. It was too many. It
on
was.
the news, a lot of times you'll see Nick Pope. He worked for the Department of Defense in England from
Ministry of Defense.
from 1985 until 2006. From 1991 to 1994, he was on the so-called UFO desk. Very interesting. You know him from Ancient Aliens. He's the guy. When I say, "Oh yeah, Nick Pope from Ancient Aliens," everyone always says the same thing. Was that the guy with the hair? No. This is he has
Now-
hair. It's not the guy with the hair. Anyway.
I spent, I picked him up at the airport with Petita, and I picked him up at the hotel the following day to bring him to Pine Bush. He is such a cool gentleman. He is, one of the most down-to-earth people. So friendly with people, talks to everyone, takes photos, doesn't complain about anything. That's Nick Pope. Regardless of what people may think of him, he is a great human being. He's just a nice person. I can't even see this man yelling. I can't even see him yelling. He's so soft-spoken and well-spoken and just so polite and cooperative, willing to do anything for the audience, for the festival, anything. I was like, just enjoy it, Nick. Enjoy the day. It's you'll like it. It was a nasty day weather-wise, so that kind of diminished the outdoor activity during the day. But I sent them a copy of his interview. His presentation alone. So that was cool. And the cool thing about Nick is, it was good just to hang out with him. And we talked, not so much about UFO stuff, a little bit, but we talked about other things. Some stuff regarding, and then I asked him a question. He goes, "Bill, I'm still under like an not an NDA. Yeah, not an NDA. He can't speak about certain things." As I tried to see if he would say anything about Rendlesham. And allegedly, we had a nuclear stockpile there. I says, "Bill, I can't talk about that. There's certain things I just can't talk about." But I know from other people that it did exist. Just John Burroughs, and he was on the base. And I'll make an interesting note. I kind of helped the situation. John Burroughs will be on Caravan to Midnight with John B. Wells next Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, because it's a live show. So I think he'll be on by 10:30. First half hour, John does his thing. So John Burroughs will be the guest on with John B. Wells next Wednesday. If all goes to plan, I have to talk to John. It's too early to call him. He's Central Time. I ain't going to call him at 7:10 in the morning. But that's a pretty cool... I don't see Tycho here. No, I don't. Don't drive me crazy with the dog. It's too early for that. All right, Ryan, you have a great day. Okay, so no, heck no, did I see any new evidence? No. But this is how weird things were. I'm gonna tell you. Friday at 9 p.m., the Wall Street Journal, and I think I have the article, but it's extensive. We might have to get into it a little. And then they drop Robert Salas's name in there, who I called Saturday. I'm trying to call him. Martin's trying to text him, because Martin was just with him a few days prior at Contact in the Desert. Because Robert Salas's name was mentioned in the Wall Street Journal article. So eventually Robert called me back that night at Pine Bush. So I asked him, "Can you go on with Martin on Tuesday?" He's going to be on tonight at 7 Eastern to address he released a rebuttal on X about this. So things were going very fluid while I was at Pine Bush. Because then John also was like, Bill, we got to do a special show, a special broadcast. We have to get on this right away. And I was like, okay. So Chris DiPerno was the host, and John Burroughs and Toby Martinez, we did a special show on Sunday night on the station. Because I should just show you the article. A lot of things is going on in the background right now. A lot. And you know, I always say there's some things I can't discuss. Well, yeah, there's some things I can't discuss, but I can put the article up because he sent me everything. John was texting me all this information. Saturday, while I'm at Pine Bush, I'm getting crazy messages, phone calls. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's all happening now. And I got to set up the show. I said, guys, I can't do this till I get home. I'll have it ready for Sunday morning because I'm at Pine Bush. Let me see. Oh man, I can't show you that email. Okay, so this is from the Wall Street. It's a long article. And I can't share it on the screen because it's something that John sent in an email. It would put his information on, which I'm not going to do. So this is what the Wall Street wrote on Friday night. The Pentagon disinformation that fueled America's UFO mythology. Now, there are people out there already discounting what the Wall Street Journal is saying, blah, blah, blah. There's already that conversation on both sides, you know, going on, where U.S. military fabricated evidence of alien technology and allowed rumors to fester to cover up real secret weapons programs. A tiny Pentagon office has spent months investigating conspiracy theories about secret Washington UFO programs when it uncovered a shocking truth. At least one of those theories has been fueled by the Pentagon itself. The congressionally ordered probe took investigators back to the 80s, when the Air Force colonel visited a bar near Area 51, a top secret site in the Nevada desert. He gave the owner photos of what might be flying saucers. The photos went up on the walls, and into a local lore went the idea that the U.S. military was secretly testing recovered alien technology. But the colonel was on a mission of disinformation. The photos were doctored. The now retired officer confessed to the Pentagon investigators in 2023. The whole exercise was a ruse to protect what was really going on at Area 51. The Air Force was using the site to develop top-secret stealth fighters, viewed as a critical edge against the Soviet Union. Military leaders were worried that the programs might get exposed if locals somehow glimpsed a test flight of, say, the F-117 stealth fighter, an aircraft that they truly did look out of this world. So it goes on. In fact, a Wall Street Journal investigation reveals, now remember, the Wall Street Journal is owned by a conservative media group. So this is not a liberal. This is a conservative media outlet. The report itself amounted to a cover-up, but not in the way the UFO conspiracy industry would have people to believe. The public disclosure left out truth behind some of the foundational myths about UFOs. The Pentagon itself sometimes deliberately fanned the flames of what amounted to U.S. government targeting its own citizens with disinformation. But there's more to this. This is a long article, and I'm skimming. MAGA skepticism about the deep state further feeds the notion that the government bureaucrats have been keeping those secrets from the American public. At a November hearing of the two House Oversight Subcommittees, Representative Nancy Mace, a Republican from South Carolina, cast doubt on the Pentagon's report. I'm not a mathematician, but I can tell you that it doesn't add up, she said. And then other people made comments. So I'm just trying to get to the main part of this, because they're just going over some of the things that were mentioned at the hearings. And like I said, this article is extensive. I'm trying to find the Robert Salas part because it's important how it ties to others. Oh, here it is. That's why Salas is going to be on tonight, because they mentioned his name specifically. They didn't mention John. But remember what happened at Rendlesham. In 1967, Robert Salas, now 84, was an Air Force captain sitting in a walk-in closet-sized bunker, manning the controls of 10 nuclear missiles in Montana. He was prepared to launch apocalyptic strikes should the Soviet Union ever attack first, and got a call around 8 p.m. one night from a guard station above. A glowing reddish-orange oval was hovering over the front gate. Salas told Kilpatrick's investigators, I have his testimony. I haven't shared it, but I have his testimony because he sent it to me. Because that's actually when he went to go to Arrow. And I have the whole thing. Because Salas and I are good friends, and his lovely wife, Marilyn. The guards had their rifles drawn, pointed at the oval object appearing to float above the gate. A horn sounded in the bunker, signaling a problem with the control systems. All 10 missiles were disabled. Salas soon learned a similar event occurred at silos nearby, like 10 days or 9 days prior. Doesn't say that here. Were they under attack? Salas never got an answer. The next morning, a helicopter was waiting to take Salas back to base. Once there, he was ordered never to discuss the incident. Salas was one of the 5 men interviewed by Kilpatrick's team who witnessed such events in the 1960s and 70s. While sworn to secret, the men began sharing their stories in the 90s in books and documentaries, which is true. Kilpatrick's team dug into the story and discovered a terrestrial explanation. The barriers of concrete and steel surrounding America's nuclear missiles were thick enough to give them a chance if hit by a first strike by the Soviet Union. But scientists at the time feared that an intense storm of electromagnetic waves generated by a nuclear detonation might render the hardware needed to launch a counterstrike unusable. To test this vulnerability, the Air Force developed an exotic electromagnetic generator, and John Burroughs said on Sunday night there was an electromagnetic generator near there, and in Rendlesham, that simulated this pulse of disruptive energy without the need to detonate a nuclear weapon. When activated, this device placed on a portable platform 60 feet above the facility would gather power until it glowed, sometimes with a blinding orange light. It would then fire a burst of energy that could resemble lightning. The electromagnetic pulses snaked down cables connected to the bunker where launch commanders like Salas sat, disrupting their guidance systems, disabling the weapons, and haunting the men to this day. But any public leak of the test at the time would have allowed Russia to know that the American nuclear arsenal could be disabled in a first strike. The witnesses were kept in the dark. To this day, Salas believes he was part of an intergalactic intervention to stop nuclear war. He is half right. The experience left and so it goes on. So what they're saying in this article is that a lot of the stuff that went on at nuclear bases, facilities, that they experienced what they thought was extraterrestrial encounters, was actually us testing weapons, top secret weapons, on our own basis to see how vulnerable they were. And what was described as an orange thing by the people above ground is not necessarily a UFO. It could be this. Now, it's an electromagnetic generator creating this pulse that then would go down the cables and cause a disruption that would cause a problem with those 10 Minutemen missiles that were not working anymore. So they were testing the vulnerabilities of an EMP. Just think of it that way, an electromagnetic pulse. And we all know that if you explode an EMP, it's going to shut down a lot of electrical systems everywhere. So this is the early stages of it. You got to remember the Cold War, same thing in Rendlesham. Christmas 1980. Allegedly, there were nuclear stockpiles where the Americans were based. And something happened in the forest. Was that another experiment to test the vulnerabilities? Because remember, Russia was moving, well, not Russia, Soviet Union at the time was threatening Poland. There was a lot of tension. So did we test it to see if the Russians, oh, well, they are the Russians, attacked the base? Was it vulnerable to an EMP? So John Burroughs suffered serious, like life-threatening medical issues. He was there when the pulse or whatever it was happened. And they admitted that he did suffer injuries at Rendlesham. That is, John McCain's office helped him at the time obtain his records. So was John affected by a test done by our own government on a military base? And they tried to say it was extraterrestrial. You hear all the rumors of people, the stories that came out. Or was it? But there also could have been a bubble created. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Well, I already know that the TikTok is ours, Charles. I already know it's ours. There's not even a doubt. Because I've talked to scientists, not just in this country, but in Russia. Well, let's not even go there right now. The TikTok is definitely ours. And John Burroughs will tell you that too. But, like I said, I can only speak so much publicly. I've always said that. If people get pissed, it's too bad. I can't talk about it. Bottom line. But, getting back to this, it's interesting because it could create a bubble. And Mark brought this up Saturday, which I found crazy that he brings this up about the fifth dimension and using gravitons around an object, a craft, to be able to manipulate time and space by entering a fifth dimension. So from a scientific perspective, this is already the theory that's out there. Let's just call it interdimensional. Mark, I could show his presentation. He talks about it. And this was Saturday. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Mark's talking about something connected to what they're talking about. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just getting crazy. So now we're seeing about the fallback when this all dropped and how people are going to counter it and say it's BS. But just because it could have been a test on certain places doesn't mean that stuff isn't happening for real and people aren't having experience, because both can be true. Alexa, stop. Both can still be true. Doesn't explain everything away. It just explains maybe a couple of incidents where things were being done by the government, experiments to see how vulnerable our bases were. Two things can be true. Both can be true. People are still having experiences. And there are other things going on. But in this case, like they specifically brought up Robert Salas's case. Alexa, stop. It seems there could be an explanation. And I say could. I am not saying for sure, because we don't know if this is even true. Because you can't believe anything that's out there, really. Because we live in those times where everything is questioned and we don't know what is true and what is not. That just goes with the territory. There's so much mistrust. So even something like this. But so John came out with Toby and talked about this stuff with Chris DePerno on Sunday night. Now tonight, I was scrambling and I called Robert Salas myself. I said, Robert, you realize what the Wall Street Journal did? He dropped your name. He goes, Bill, I know. I'm in the process of writing my rebuttal to be released. He released it I don't know if it was Sunday or Monday, on X. So he came out with a statement. He's going to be on with Martin tonight at 7 Eastern. And Jade was there. Jade is in chat. Jade was there when I was saying, Jade, there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. But it's so much I can't tell you right now. It's just too much. Right, Jade? Jade was there when all this stuff was going on. It was constant at Pine Bush. It was crazy. John Burroughs is calling me. I'm trying to call Robert Salas. And I'm at Pine Bush. I'm busy. Trying to get a show set up for Sunday night. It was all just happening so quick. Now, the interesting part is we're going to have 2 shows tonight with Martin Willis at 5 Eastern, which I'm really curious to hear this one. Gary Heseltine from the UK is going to be talking Rendlesham at 5 Eastern. I'm really curious to hear his take on this. And then, of course, Robert Salas at 7. And as I mentioned, John B. Wells earlier, I mentioned, I managed to speak to John B. Wells' wife and arrange for John to be on with John B. Wells next Wednesday on his show. And that should be really interesting. Hopefully they did what they had to do. I sent Brandy some information this morning that is relevant to everything that's going on, some background. Because I have a copy of the book, and the book is excellent. That Toby and John did. I can show you a little bit of it, but I can't show you much. It's just the way it is. The signals of the threshold that I was telling people about. It's funny how they did that. I mean, so, wait, Mom, I'm busy right now. It's 8:30 in the morning. I slept all night. I was sick all night. I'm still not feeling well. I'm okay. And I have to go out. So this is what I sent Brandy so that she could that John can get a little background on the book. And this is it. I'm not gonna see Rendlesham and the Echo Protocol. John Burroughs. Radiation levels were significantly elevated at the landing site. Unexplained aerial activity. So I sent this to her. Let's get rid of that because I can't show too much of that. So this is all fluid and it's happening right now. It's going to be interesting to see how they address this. And if there's a statement made by the Pentagon. I don't think so. I think they're going to stay quiet on this one. But John was sending me other stuff. I'm just going to read a little bit of what John was sending me. And he did this in May. UAP injuries are real. Veterans are being ignored. Congress can't keep hiding behind classified doors. This is true. It happened to him. And other veterans out there that are having incredible difficulty in getting their records because it's classified, medical records, to get the treatment that they need, or in denial that they even have an injury sustained due to something that they experienced while in the military. Jade, you might address a little bit of this. And he writes, like he sent me a bunch of information, and I'm only going to read a little because this is extensive. For decades, the U.S. government has quietly acknowledged the presence of unidentified aerial phenomenon, UAPs. objects in our skies that defy known propulsion, maneuvering, or explanation. These aren't sci-fi fantasies. They're real. The Pentagon admits it. Congress has held hearings on it. Entire offices like the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARROW, has been created to investigate them. But while lawmakers debate how much to reveal, veterans like me, those who've come in close contact oh my God, I just got an email for a show. This is what I mean, it never stops. I lost myself where I was. Those of us who have come in close contact with these phenomena are living with the consequences. Some of us are physically damaged, others psychologically scarred. Many have been left in the cold, untreated, disbelieved, or worse, silenced. I was fortunate. I had the support of my senators and ultimately received help, but countless others have not. Their stories are buried under red tape, their injuries unacknowledged, their futures discarded in the name of national security. And Congress, by hiding behind classified briefings, is complicit in that neglect. This is not a conspiracy theory. It's a documented pattern. Consider this. Between 1962 and 1973, U.S. Navy sailors were unknowingly exposed to biological and chemical agents under Project Shad. From Project Shad. From 55 to 75, soldiers at Edgewood Arsenal were dosed with LSD and sarin to test psychological and incapacitating weapons. Hundreds of thousands of atomic veterans were placed near nuclear detonations with little or no protection. None of these programs were admitted until decades later, and only after countless lives were altered or lost. This is true. Now in 2025, we face the same institutional cowardice. Military personnel who've encountered UAP report symptoms eerily similar to those earlier victims. Neurological damage, immune system issues, even radiation like burns. In 2005, a leaked Defense Intelligence Agency report, DIA, confirmed that exposure to UAPs can cause brain injuries and biological disruption. Still, there's no system in place to treat or even recognize those affected. Congress continues to dodge its duty. Lawmakers publicly posture, but when it's time to act, time to vote for funding, transparency, medical support, they retreat into closed-door briefings and point to classified material they won't challenge. And this goes on. And there's many more documents he sent me. John. A lot. This is just the tip. And I actually have to call him soon because I want to see if he wants me to forward this off to other people. There's so much. See? Here we go. Another document from John. In December 1980, the Rendlesham Forest incident occurred adjacent to RAF Woodbridge and Bentwaters, then operational under joint US-UK control. While the event is publicly framed as a UAP sighting, this packet consolidates declassified theory, possible interaction with unknown atmospheric phenomena. I wish I could show you this, but I can't because there's other stuff there that. But he names everybody in this. Plasma. Okay, technologies in use or test phase in 1980. Marx generators. High voltage pulse power systems capable of generating nanosecond duration, gigawatt scale EM pulses. That's that generator. And there was probably one near Maelstrom. Plasma stealth and EM field cloaking. He just breaks it down. There's so much in here, I can't go through this. It would take hours. And the people that were involved. Hal Puthoff's name is in there. This is John Burroughs, Mr. Thorough. So, like I said, this is deep. This is deep. So who knows? Like I said, I'm not gonna get into the whole thing because there's just too much to get into here. He did an op-ed too. And John was ahead of it. Because he did an op-ed in May about this, and then the Wall Street Journal jumped on it. And that's what John wants. He wants to get this out in the open so people can get the medical coverage and stop being in denial of those that suffered injuries. Military personnel that are either being ignored or ridiculed or just silenced. I don't know about Jade. I know Jade had a hard time. Finally. And I know that there were some weird things going on in Iraq at the time when Jade was there, and Jade suffered from some medical issues. Who knows? Who knows? But you realize if that is true and that the government is responsible for that, like they have in the past. I'm sure people have seen the old videos when they were testing nuclear weapons exploding. And they had soldiers around the perimeter or on ships. They didn't know what the effects were going to be of the radiation. And then, first of all, it was secret. They weren't going to reveal it anyway. What happened to all those people? All the people in Vietnam that suffered. And all the wars and or anything. Think about that. Just think about all the people that may not even realized that the cause of their illness or potentially their death is related to an experiment that was conducted while they were in the military by our own government to test something. That's crazy. And that's what this comes down to. Now, like I said, I'm not saying that all incidents that happen out there have to do with a test. I'm just saying in some cases, this could be the case. What about Roswell? Were they testing something? Remember, at Roswell, they just installed new radar systems. Did they test to see if those radar systems were vulnerable to something? Did they test a craft that was under experiment, and was it extraterrestrial in nature? Now, as I'm saying this, I'm saying this whole thing that I'm discussing could be a total excuse cover-up about the whole extraterrestrial angle or interdimensional angle. Is this part of a ploy to say, okay, nothing to see here. It wasn't aliens. It wasn't this. It was the government doing tests. So when you look at this, but now talking to John Burroughs, in his instance, I do believe it was a test. Now, I don't know how Salas is going to take it. And I'm going to find out tonight, but Robert definitely deserves the opportunity to speak his mind and put his perspective out there. And that's what's going to happen tonight on Martin's show. I'm very curious because I'll be producing it. I'm very curious to see how that one goes. And I like I said, I'm good friends with Robert and his wife Marilyn. So and then Gary Heseltine is on at 5 with Martin, and the show it's titled Rendlesham. This is going to be an interesting day as far as like to hear from two different perspectives. I'm just so curious to see where this goes. And then John will be on with John B. Wells' Caravan to Midnight next Wednesday with 4+ million listeners on 200 and I don't even know how many terrestrial stations throughout the country. This John B. Wells has a pretty nice sized audience. So it's going to be interesting to see how this develops and if any statements are made. I don't know. Already there are people out there, I'm not going to name names, that are saying, oh, but the Wall Street Journal wasn't being specific about how they obtained the information. Is it accurate? You know that's going to start immediately. They're going to attack, and as they should, the meat and potatoes of what they're addressing here. We need to see more than this. You just can't allegedly say something without backing up and having evidence that it did happen the way you're saying it happened. The Pentagon. So where's the documents? Where's the proof that it was a test? So there's still a lot of questions here. So we'll see. I'm sure there are people out there doing FOIAs, without naming names, trying to obtain information regarding this to verify, which is right. But another thing, it's like, and I get it, you're going to see some hissy fits. Oh, that's not true. This is disinformation. This is to cover it all up. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you're going to hear that. The other side's going to bitch. Like, this is disinformation to cover up the whole thing. That's why I'm curious to see where this goes. And I'm sitting back and, you know, just watching this from the outside. And I'm really curious to see how this develops and goes. Because pretty much, Toby and John were on it with their book, on it. And it stirred the pot. The book, somebody caught wind of it and stirred it up. That's why I always tell people, you might not think what somebody does, they may have 5 viewers or 100 viewers. But if something is said, there are people that are paying attention. You may not think it, but there are. And once they catch wind of it, then they take it to a whole new level. How do I know? Because it happened on a show that's on the station. They had a guest on, and it turned into a bigger thing, which I'm not going to get into specifics. And they were like, I didn't know they were listening or watching the show. Well, that's the thing. You never know who's watching or listening. That's a fact. You never know. People are paying attention. You might not think they're paying attention, but they are. That's funny, Lorraine. Do the voice again. Oh my God. Jeez, that's too funny. Yeah, you can't just have, look, I said this many times, when they had these hearings with 3,000 whistleblowers, it doesn't mean nothing to me. When you have a documentary that comes out and says, we've got 200 people saying this, that, who cares? I don't care who they are. I personally don't. I told Nick this. I am so tired of it. And good morning to Astro. Show us the evidence. Show us the documentation. Show us evidence to back up what they're saying. Because without it, it's just a story. Who cares? You're not impressing anyone. They think they impress people by saying, well, this person was part of this and that and this. Like, they had a high position level over here and over there and the pilots and this. Where's the fucking proof? It's so empty without evidence. It's empty. It's such a waste of time. Because nobody's going to pay attention to it. Oh, that was an interesting story. Wow. Interesting. But how do we know it's true? In this age, in this day and age, where there's so much mistrust and doubt in everything, you're not going to come out, with some type of evidence to back up what you're saying, people are going to say this is bullshit. That's the bottom line. I don't know if they understand this. They're not impressing nobody. They think they are, but they're stupid if they think, and naive if they think that's what the case is. Because I'm telling you, I could make a poll here. How many people here believe anything they're saying without evidence? None. None! I need to see the evidence. I need to see the proof. It's an interesting story. I'm like, wow. And it's like, if that is really true, then it's a wow. But if that is really true, and without evidence, it will be always said, if that is really true. Don't they get that? Until then, it's going to be, if that's true, then, but where's the evidence? So I'm tired of watching these hearings without any real evidence presented, proof, because to me it's a waste of time and it's bullshit. I don't give a shit if you were the former vice president of the United States saying, well, I seen evidence that was presented to me, so show us. Well, you think your testimony is good enough? Not in these times. I don't care who you are. It's not good enough. We need proof. We need evidence. And I think they're just so stupid that they don't understand that. Stop coming forward with so-called whistleblowers until they're able to be backed up by evidence. Otherwise, you're wasting all of our time. That's the bottom line. Now, John Burroughs, and that's why they are really interested in John Burroughs, and I can tell you that, and I'm not going to get into details. They're really interested in John Burroughs. And it seems like they're coming up with alternative people that are claiming to be similar to John Burroughs because they can't get to John Burroughs. This is a fact, I can tell you that. And I'm not going to speak on John's behalf, but it gets me like pissed off. John has evidence of his own experience, and the other ones claim they're trying to be like, well, I'm like John Burroughs. No, you're not. No, you're not. What? No, I don't know. What are you're gonna drive me crazy with the dog again? Where's the dog? Let me solve this right now because you do this every day. I'm coming. I'm gonna check, okay? I'm gonna check. Every morning. Where's my dog? All right, excuse me. Let me see. They've been trying to get John. And John is like, nope. They've been trying. John says no. And they're frustrated. So now it's like they're looking for similar individuals to claim they had similar experiences with a UAP and suffered some kind of a medical or a DNA situation. You have no idea how crazy this is. Oh, when I said, these people are like... Is that voice? And the funny thing is, the egos in this field is so insane. Some of them think they're just too good to talk to anyone. So I'm at the point where I don't even want to even like communicate with people that they're so above and beyond they think of other people. It's like, it's frustrating. Like I had a discussion with someone. You have no idea. I'm not even going to finish what I was going to say. They all want to be at the forefront of what's going on. They all want to be like that person that is providing the information. But we need the people that are truly involved, that have some kind of evidence and documentation. See, John is a rare case, and they know it. Because he was able to get documents, and he has them. He also has more than that. I'll just keep it at that. He has more than just documents. He has exchanges. Let's just call it like that. And he has it to show what was going on. And they know he has it. So it's funny how they're silent when it comes to John speaking out. I was talking to John about this yesterday. John, you notice it's crickets. It's really interesting. Really interesting. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to get too deep involved in trouble. That's for John Burroughs to address. And I respect him immensely. Ever since the day Race was the main producer for Phenomenon Radio. You say good morning, Momzilla. See, but John Burroughs has documentation, Astro. He actually got it through McCain's office. McCain's office helped him get, that's why he said it in that. I read it to you earlier. When he wrote his thing. I was fortunate. This is what he said. This is his statement. I was fortunate. I had the support of my senators and ultimately received help. Oh, he did, through McCain's office. But others have not. Countless others have not, he said. Their stories are buried under red tape, their injuries unacknowledged, their futures discarded in the name of national security, because it was classified. And they admitted that it happened at Rendlesham. I don't know if it writes there, but this is pretty big. See, it says here, John Burroughs is a retired Air Force technical sergeant and a first-hand witness to the 1980 Rendlesham Forest incident. He advocates for veterans injured in unexplained encounters and for the government transparency on UAP matters. So he sustained injuries at Rendlesham. They acknowledged that. What caused it? Was it a test that they were conducting while they were out there in the forest between the bases? We'll see. You guys are funny in there. You know that, right? Yes, I totally agree with you, Astro. They know the truth will put a target on them, whereas those with just ego and only a story are pests in the infosphere. It's not even just about that. They want to be relevant. They want to feel important in this whole disclosure movement. That's what it really comes down to. And they might have an inside lobbying to get funding for whatever research they're working on, because that's a big part of it too, money. There's a lot of different things going on in the background. So you have to consider it's complicated. A lot of self-interest going on too. So Alice says, not to dismiss what he said, Skywatcher, but I can say the very same thing about my injury And my buddy can say the very same thing about his injury. And even my ex can say the same thing. For every one of us that survived the admin, there was at least another 4 that did not. Yeah. Yep. Totally get it. But everybody's individual experience and whatever their injury was is different from the other. There can be similarities. It could have happened together with other people. Doesn't make it the same scenario. Especially at Rendlesham or Maelstrom or some of the places. They didn't even mention Rendlesham. The only one that was mentioned in that Wall Street Journal article was Maelstrom, 67, with Salas. It's the only one they dropped, name dropped. That's it. So now the focus is going to be on that incident. So John is like, wait a minute. If it happened at Maelstrom, and he's looking into the certain things that were there, the same similar to what was going on in the UK, the similarities. Well, what they did at Maelstrom, they could have done it. And remember, we're talking back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. It's not like more recent time, last decade or two. This is going back. So it's different. It's not the same scenario. Can't be compared. Similarities, yes. But there, you know how many people suffer injuries out there? What about what happened in Cuba with the headaches? And what caused that? People getting physically ill. All kinds of shit happens all the time. So this is not like this is a isolated incident. There are so many different things going on. You know, there was a brain disorder going on. Something happened. What was that? They blamed the Russians did it in Cuba to U.S. Personnel. What was that about? So there's all kinds of things that happens all over the place. But that does not make that the same as what's going on to other people. What you experience is something that you experienced that you should be digging in to find out exactly what the reasoning was and the symptoms and everything for your situation. But your situation cannot be compared to what others are going through in other places. There are similarities. Then you say, well, there's a pattern here. What we suffered is similar to what others suffered. Why? And if you find a rational explanation, that's great. But some, especially in the United States, forget about Canada. In the United States, with everything that we do across the world, especially, like I said, during that Cold War phase, in our, what was going on with the Soviet Union, there's a lot of shit going on. So times change, things change. It's different. But I'm really curious. Again, that's your theory and hypothesis, and totally respect it. But something did happen at both places and Rendlesham. Some thought it was interdimensional, alien. Jim Peniston's story is different from Burroughs' story. That's different from, not really different, but then there's Adrian Bustinza. I'm not even going to mention somebody else's name because that person's full of shit. But there was something definitely did happen at Rendlesham. And this kind of makes sense. That's the thing. It kind of makes sense. But as I prefaced, until we see evidence to prove it. But they have to come out with the truth. And do you think they're going to come out with the truth? Oh, yeah, we were experimenting on our base while occupied by U.S. military personnel. We're responsible. But they did kind of take responsibility that he suffered an injury at Rendlesham. they did take responsibility that he suffered injuries at Rendlesham. But what were the injuries caused by? That's vague. So imagine they eventually, if it ever came out, I don't know if this will ever come out. That's why there's a lot here to unpack. That they were the ones responsible for his injuries. Like they may be responsible for many injuries that they caused during a top secret experiment of some kind. We'll see. But it is really interesting. And like I said, just because in the case of Salas, or if it even happened with John, occurred, does not say that other stuff goes on. People's personal experiences, abduction experiences, all that, that's separate. Like I said, both can be possible. We don't know. None of us know. Because we haven't seen the proof. Where's the proof? Like, where's the beef? Where is it? And that's why, like, from where I'm sitting, and I speak to so many people. And when I hear, oh my God, did you hear about the documentary that's coming out? They've got like 100-something whistleblowers. I said, really? That's amazing. If they show evidence to back up what they're saying. Or is it just them talking to impress people about stuff they might have seen or heard or witnessed? What good is it if they're going to go to a hearing and saying, I can't reveal the details because it's classified? Give me a break. I don't think, I'm starting to really think we're dealing with something interdimensional. I've been saying that for quite some time. I'm really thinking more of the interdimensional, and so are they. And they, government, other people in the field. A lot of people are now turning toward the interdimensional. Even Mark D'Antonio. And I'm not speaking for anyone. But when Mark did the presentation, which you could see the video, talking about gravitons going around an object and being able to slip into another dimension and travel vast distances by popping in and out using the fifth dimension. That's the science theory, hypothesis, the possibility of how it could be done. And a lot of things that ever become discovered are hypotheses, they're theories. And then they're made into scientific fact if it's proven. It all starts with a theory, an experiment. So there's a lot going on. Definitely, Alice, definitely. I'm reading her comments. Definitely. But again, I'm speculating, obviously. But I'm able to speculate with a lot of different sources of information. And see, I'm very objective. I don't look at things, from one. I look at the whole thing coming from all the different things, and then I reach my own opinion or conclusion like anyone else should. So based on that is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Doesn't make it true, doesn't make it right. But there's a lot to go on. Let me see what Astro's saying. Opportunistic money game. Absolutely. They're all looking for the money. Remember when that Skywatcher group was on with that Cold Heart egg thing? Of course, they plugged their stuff at the end because they're looking for money. They're looking for funding. It's always down to that root. They all want funding to do the research, the R&D, because they know the government is looking, or that people within the government, we need money for R&D, for research and development. Well, you don't think these groups are out there to grab a piece of that money in that pot? Of course they are. A lot of them are. It's self-interests. Definite. They all want a piece of it because they know there's talk of it. It's always about the money. Somehow or another, it's always about the money. All of a sudden, the military would take on liability for injuries they might not have been responsible for just to hide a much bigger truth. Well, see, that's why this is interesting. Is this a cover? Let's just say everything that happened was due to a secret military weapons program. They could use that to cover up the overall story of what really, if they're reverse engineering alien technology and crashed. So is this part of that? That they're just going to say that a lot of the things that you think were UAP, no, actually it was us testing. We're going to take responsibility for those that are still alive and their spouses and families, and we're going to own up to that. And that could be the cover-up for what really might have been going on. And it's connected to, again, both can be true. Both can be true. And yes, the timing of it all. It is complex and confusing. But I guarantee, I'm not guaranteeing anything because you never know what could happen. That's why I'm saying I'm interested to see. Because right now, no one's like making a stink of this. No one's really, everybody's quiet, but it just happened Friday. You know, John's doing his part and Robert's going to do his part tonight, but it might just all go unnoticed, so to speak. And not enough pressure put on to get a response officially from the Pentagon about this. Should a reporter go at a briefing and say, were you there? The Wall Street Journal recently released an article claiming that the United States government was testing EMP weapons on military bases going back to the 60s. Is that true? But you notice that the reporters never put themselves out like that. It's rare. That would be a question I would ask. And it's legit to the Pentagon, to the Department of Defense, like somebody like that. I'm not going to do it at a White House briefing. I'm going to go to the people that were allegedly connected to it, the Pentagon. A tiny office in the Pentagon. You know what I mean? Exactly. The survivor numbers are much less than when the incidents first happened. Exactly. How many of them are actually alive? Going back to what they're mentioning. Yes. So again, all of us, like Alice is making great points, you're making great points. This is the debate that's going on right now. This is the things to think about. But, as I mentioned, will somebody ask someone, an official, or will we get a statement from the Pentagon saying, no, absolutely not, we were not responsible for doing that, testing secret weapons or tests to... They might, though. Yes, we were trying to see the vulnerability of these bases during the Cold War in the event that the Soviet Union would attack these bases with nuclear weapons in a first strike. You can expect something like that. Possibly. Because it's rational. It's a logical, but will they own up to it? That's the question. And I say no, they're not going to respond to this. That would be my gut feeling that we're not going to comment on that. It's as easy as that. We're not going to comment on that. Because that opens up a big can of worms. I mean, really. What else have you experimented on? Have you experimented on civilians? I mean, there's going to be a lot of questions. Oh, so you didn't tell us all. and it's obvious. It's obvious. You could look up videos of the atomic bomb, the testing. I mean, what about all those people? Did they know the effects of radiation during the testing phase? Did they really know? The cancer? Look, it's happened here. When Nuclear Lake, the facility, had an explosion, the cancer, and you could look this up, the cancer rates in the surrounding communities went up. Just from that. Did they ever own that? Did they ever? I know that people tried to make the tie that cancer related illnesses went up in the surrounding areas, but did they ever own up to being responsible for it and paying out? Just think about after 9/11, how people struggled, families struggled, people that were affected by it, trying to get coverage for what they experienced. And many of them have passed away and died because of the illnesses, the cancer. I mean, think about it. It's not good. I mean, you could probably pick so many different scenarios similar to this. And that's just tragic. And that's just, I'm using that as an example. It's not the same, but you get the idea. So I had to go out because I think the rain has stopped. Yep, it stopped. Actually, there's my bubble to go out. I got to go out and do a quick run because I need medicine. I'm not feeling well. Maybe that little voice is going to come back because I'm not feeling well. I got to go out and get some Alka-Seltzer and some other stuff. Yesterday I was worse. Today I'm a little better, but I'm low on Alka-Seltzer. It's actually helping me. I'm having an issue. Too much information. But tonight at 5 Eastern, Podcast UFO with Martin, Gary Hesseltine, talking Rendlesham. Matter of fact, let me go to the stream and see what I could read the description. So I already set it up. Oh, here we go. The title, Non-Human, the truth behind the Rendlesham Forest incidents. So here's the description. Join Martin Willis of Podcast UFO for an exclusive one-on-one interview with former UK police detective and leading UFO researcher Gary Hesseltine as he dives deep into his groundbreaking book, Non-Human, the Rendlesham Forest Incidents, 42 Years of Denial. Often called Britain's Roswell, which is true. The Rendlesham Forest incident remains one of the most compelling and controversial UFO cases in modern history. In this interview, Gary reveals new evidence. Oh, I want to hear the new evidence. First-hand witness accounts, and why he believes the truth has been systematically hidden for over 4 decades. New evidence. I'm very curious to hear the new evidence or see the new evidence. So that's that. And then at 7, Bob Salas responds to Wall Street Journal article. This was no EMP test. It was a UFO. So Bob is sticking to his guns, saying this was not an EMP test. It was a UFO. That's what Rob is going to say tonight to counter what the Wall Street Journal is saying it was a weapon. That's what I mean. Now, this could become an issue in Congress because Bob did speak to Nancy Mace behind closed doors during the last big hearing. It would be really interesting to see how this part was. Like I said, he's the only one that was name dropped in that article. Who were the Wall Street Journal sources? Will the real Wall Street Journal source please stand up? Come forward. Tell us. Tell us how you knew. I hate that. When they get information, well, let's see the evidence. Let's see the documentation to prove that was going on, that it was a military operation. Is that just another story? You need evidence, right? Don't you need something to say that, yeah, wow. So that's why I'm saying this is interesting where this is going to go. Anyway, speaking of going, Rothschild rejects claims Pentagon spread fake UFC. I'm not surprised. What did I say earlier? I'm not surprised how this is going to there's going to be both sides coming out and saying, bullshit, this isn't true. You know, because they have a vested interest in what they're doing. It's totally not, it totally disrupts their angle. So they're going to definitely deny, they're definitely going to contradict and say, no, that's not true. It's not a weapons test. It is UFOs. You're going to have that because this is everything they worked on, and it's like, oh shit, bummer. I guess I was wrong. No, they're not going to just lay down and die and go away. They're going to keep fighting and going with their narrative. They've gone this far, they got to go all the way. Of course they're going to say that. Anybody who's in this field is going to continue doing what they do with everything that they've done research on and believe on. Just because a story comes out doesn't make it true. I mean, like I just said, where's the evidence that it's true? How do we know this? Do you have documents to show that this is, but wouldn't that be classified? So how do you know? So there's a lot of shady shit in here. Without proof and evidence to provide, it's just a story that the Wall Street Journal said. It's all speculation. Where's the documentation to prove that they were doing this testing? And that's why people are going to come out and say, I call on the bullshit. Show us the proof that it was a test. That's why I'm sitting back and I want to see how this plays out. I am really curious to see how this little thing, this is not a small thing that's going on, because it's going to affect the whole community and their different angles and perspectives and opinions, like we all have, and to see their responses. The so-called brilliant minds in the field, when it's, because a lot of them, just like I said, they're so ego-driven, believe me. They think, what they say is like something that should be written in they do write it in books, but like prophetic in nature, like, I know the deal. I know what's going on. I have inside information. But I can't, no, that sounds like me. But I am not anyone to claim that what these people say, and because they're like in direct contact with certain individuals, whistleblowers, and whistleblowers to me are full of shit. They just are. You know why? Like I said before, without proof or evidence to back up what you're saying, you're putting yourself out there for what reason? To reveal what? Without evidence to back you up. You look like a fool. You're not impressing anybody. The public, the people that are interested in ufology and all that, It's like drama for them. It's like, and it's entertainment. It's like gossip. It's like, but for the general public, that if you're trying to put out information for the general public and to get their attention on it, you're wasting your time. Again, what age do we live in? The age of disinformation, the age of mistrust. I don't believe nothing. And even if something does come out, I'm calling fake on it. Because you know that's going to happen. I say this over and over and over again. It doesn't matter if they release a document or a photo or a video, because people are going to be right there to say that's fake, that's AI generated or whatever the hell. It's fake. So it's a lose-lose. It's really a lose-lose. Because even if you do come out, people are going to right away say that's fake. So I don't know. I honestly don't know what it's going to take. The only thing it's going to take is an admission. But even if you admit something, doesn't make it true. Because they could be covering up, like Astro said, covering up a bigger thing. In other words, they'll take the hit on a lower scale to admit something to protect the bigger prize. You're not going to get there. They might go and say, maybe admit to something here, but they're going to protect this. So we'll see. This is a fascinating situation that's going on to me. And that's what I was saying earlier. I was waiting to see how other people are going to respond to this article. And it's like Genghis said, it's already coming out. He's pretty much saying that there are people, gatekeepers to the secret about the legacy. He's been saying that for a long time, the legacy UFO, that's his wording, legacy UFO program, who have been lying and deceiving the American public for years, of course. But is he saying anything new that you or I or Alice or Astro would say? No. I'm pretty sure a majority of people would say they've been lying to us for years about this. An assumption that I'm making, but I'm sure a lot of people that, I mean, you could bring up JFK. You could bring up so many topics that they've been lying to us for years. Like TW800 is a big thing for me. I personally think they've been lying to us about that. Especially when over 100 people seeing a projectile going up toward the plane before a poop off Long Island. A lot of people. That's what I'm saying. But you're opening up Pandora's box. If they lied to us about this, what else are they lying to us about? Like, did we have information from the Mossad prior to 9/11 happening? You know, this is a conspiracy theory. That's why certain people didn't show up to work the day of the attack? Or we had knowledge? And if you look at the Osama bin Laden documentary on Netflix, it's pretty interesting, because there are intelligence personnel saying, we told them that something imminent was coming. We told them the alarm bells were off the scale. But they didn't respond. Or like, for instance, they had Osama bin Laden in the early stages in a location near Tora Bora. I remember, if anybody remembers. And they blew it. And then they blamed the intelligence for the lack of bullshit. It wasn't them. It was they needed somebody to make the call on the decision to make the move. And it really comes down, in that documentary from what I've seen, President Bush didn't make the call to do it. It wasn't the intelligence committee. They were the scapegoats. They were the ones that were blamed. So, you know, if you haven't seen that, it's pretty interesting on Netflix. So, again, this is complicated. They're going to come out with that because everything that they're talking about is relevant to still sticking to it that it's UAP, and it still can be UAP. Like, whatever it's the source is, interdimensional, whatever. It can still be true. Like I said earlier, a few times, both can still be true. But maybe in certain instances, it was a test. I'm not saying all of it's going to be explained away by tests, but maybe in a couple of those cases that we thought it was, it is a UAP by definition. That's curious how they did that on purpose, to do that, to add to the confusion. Because it's not we don't know what it is. Was it a UFO, alien craft, something, or was it a test? Jury's out. But like I said, a lot of these people are gonna, and then they're gonna bring on people on their shows and say, well, this, that. Look, until we see evidence, that's the bottom line. And it goes for both sides. The whistleblower part, that they say this happened, they seen this, they heard from this, that, this. Without evidence, it's nothing. Really, it's nothing. Think of it, I hate to use this as an example. Snowden was a whistleblower. Documents were released. WikiLeaks. And that was proven to be true. That's a whistleblower. That's revealing documents, evidence. To me, and he broke the law, obviously, by revealing that. But he's still a true whistleblower. He exposed it, but with evidence, documentation. This is not the same type of whistleblower where I have information secondhand by people I talk to within the agency that have seen crashed, retrieval, unknown, sourced, not from this earth, that's the big one, non-human intelligence. Yes, there were bodies that were not human. Blah, 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 blah. Who gives a fuck? Wow, did you really? Oh my God. That's incredible. Can we see, do you have pictures? Like if I was somebody who never heard of this stuff before and I heard it, like, oh my God, they're saying that the aliens are real. That they have crashed UFOs and bodies of little things. Did they release images? Do they have proof? Did they release the proof? No. And as this keeps going on and on and on, without giving evidence, people are just saying, I'm not paying attention to this shit anymore because it's just another story with bullshit. Just think about the common person's thinking when they see stuff like this. People in the UFO community that love this stuff are interested. They're going to be like, wow, I heard that one before. That's pretty interesting. You know, they love it. It's like, you know, throwing meat out. Like, to make them, because, you know, they try to make it where we don't want to hear so much about Roswell anymore and Rendlesham anymore. You know, like we played it out for so long, so much, they're like tired. So they want to hear about other things. I'm saying that in general. Because it's like regurgitating the same shit over and over and over and over again. But I can't really speak for the other person, obviously. But if I was a person that was not involved with this at all, and I just happened to put on the news and they say, a whistleblower says there's alien craft and bodies at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base that he knows someone that is actually working on reverse engineering the craft. He's seen the documents. Wow, I want to see this, but there's nothing to see here. It's so ridiculous. I just don't get it. Don't give me another hearing. I don't want to see another hearing unless there's evidence. Bottom line, I am so sick of it. I don't want to see another hearing unless they have something to back it up with. And I don't know how these people, they come forward, think they're like brave and they have the courage to be a whistleblower. You are absolutely putting yourself out there with nothing to back you up. How stupid can you be? You know you're going to get attacked and people are going to try to discredit you. Without any evidence, you just put yourself out there to be exposed and a target because you ain't got nothing to back you up or anything you're saying. That is so stupid. Would anybody that's watching right now, anyone, go to a hearing based on the knowledge that you know, put yourself out there without having anything to back up your story? I mean, would you? In front of the whole world, because it's not just the country, and say this without proof of what you're saying? Or to say, well, I can't talk about that. I can do it behind closed doors in a classified setting. Oh, Jesus Christ. We're tired of it. At least I am. And that's what separates John with Rendlesham, because he was there. He suffered from a medical injury, and they admitted that he suffered from a medical injury, and he's got the documentation, and he has other lines of communication exchange with people involved with it, because he has it all. That's different, because it ties them to be responsible for what happened there. But what exactly caused it? And there are other people that are involved, but they don't want to get in. They don't want. And if you don't think, and like I said, I don't speak for anybody. If you don't think they tried to get John involved, I'm sure John has mentioned it, but I'm not going to speak for John. That would be irresponsible. But you don't think that he would be someone that they would have an interest of? And not just the government, but groups that would want him to be a part of their group. Follow me? Isn't it too early for this shit? But I was in the middle of it all weekend, Pig Pug. I was in the middle of it. Things are coming to me in real time. Like Jade was there. He knows. You're in Rumble, but Jade he knows. He was with me. I was like, oh my God, look at all this stuff coming in. It's all happening like. Then I'm calling Robert Salas. Robert. Then he gets back to me. I was like, oh my gosh, can you go on with Martin Tuesday? He said, sure. What time? All that. This happened so fast. You don't want to know really what's going on. And I'm not going to repeat it, Pig Bug. You would have to watch. But I need to get off because I need to get out of here to go shopping before the rain comes back. But today, on Rumble, Pig Pug, go to KGRA DB at 5 Eastern. You're going to have Gary Heseltine from the UK talking about his new book regarding Rendlesham, the incident that happened there. At 7, also on the KGRA DB Rumble, you're going to see Robert Salas make a statement, because his name was dropped in the Wall Street article. And Robert says it wasn't an EMP weapon, it was a UFO. So we're going to hear from his point of view. So 2 things are going to happen today in relation to 2 different incidents. The Rendlesham situation with John Burroughs and also the Maelstrom incident in '67 with Robert Salas. I'm producing these shows. I'm in the background, and I am gonna be watching this intently to see what's said, because everybody's reacting. It's coming out like Genghis said. Ross Coulthart already came out with a statement. A News Nation clip. He said, watching a News Nation clip, Ross Coulthart rejects claims Pentagon spread fake UFO rumors. Now, there's a little wording in there that may not be true. It's exaggerated. The Pentagon didn't spread the information that it was UFO. The speculation that was out there by the public was that it was a UFO. The Pentagon didn't say this is UFOs. That the Pentagon spread the information that it was UFOs. That's not true. Pentagon never did that. Never. The public assumed something happened and it was UFO related. So that statement, if that's what he said, is misleading. Just reading it. If that's what he said, rejects claims Pentagon spread fake UFO rumors. Pentagon never spread fake UFO rumors. They just allowed the speculation to go out there and manifest and spread. They did nothing. The people that were witnessing this were like, what the hell could this be? It's out of this world. It's extraterrestrial. They didn't spread it. They allowed it to fester and manifest into people thinking it was UFOs. So that's false. If that's what he said in those words, that's misleading. Rejects claims Pentagon spread fake UFO. Pentagon did not spread fake UFO rumors. That's not what this says, that they spread fake information, spread fake UFO rumors. It's based on what people experienced and were speaking about it, and they thought it was a UFO. They thought it was extraterrestrial. The Pentagon has never confirmed any existence of UFOs. Never. So they're not gonna even probably confirm that this is true too. So what? Really? I mean, come on now, stop it. I want to get back to that Wall Street Journal article. Let me see. Oh, I'm getting a bad pain. Again. Oh. See, it's misleading because the Pentagon disinformation that fueled America's UFO mythology. The U.S. military fabricated evidence of alien technology and allowed rumors. So he's kind of putting it together that way, and allowed rumors to fester. See, that's different. So to cover up U.S. fabricated evidence. Did they fabricate evidence of alien technology? Did they fabricate? Did they ever come out publicly and say that they were fabricating alien technology? Did they ever come out to say that? U.S. military fabricated evidence of alien technology and allowed rumors to fester to cover up real secret weapons programs. Allowed rumors to fester. Rumors created by them, by fabricating evidence of alien technology. Did they ever publicly say they had evidence of alien technology? This is new to me. It's coming from the Wall Street Journal article. So what Ross wrote is kind of based. He's right. He's right when he says that, actually, if you read the Wall Street Journal article. allowed rumors, because that's what he wrote, right? Rejects claim Pentagon spread fake UFO rumors. Allowed rumors to fester to cover up real weapons programs. I'm looking at that and I'm looking at that. Claims Pentagon spread fake. Allowed. Did they spread it or allowed it to happen? Did they, see, that's misleading. Did the Pentagon spread it or allow it? That's two different things. Because by spreading it, they're directly involved in spreading it. Allowing it is just letting it be out there and people saying, you know, spreading like wildfire that it's aliens. U.S. military fabricated evidence of alien technology. How did they fabricate evidence of alien technology? I've never seen that. I've never seen fabricated evidence of alien technology. They've never admitted to it. So how did they fabricate it? Now, my theory is they allowed it to be thought of as extraterrestrial. Of course they are. It's a perfect cover story. It's a perfect cover story. That's like Area 51. Oh yeah, it's UFOs. Meanwhile, they're really doing top secret tests on aircraft. It's a perfect cover. So that's not uncommon. You're always looking for people to pay attention to this shiny object to take away from what is really going on. There's nothing unusual about that. I mean, really? Come on, stop it. Stop it. It's nonsense. Yes, they want that. They want a distraction. They don't want our adversaries to... If the adversaries are confused and believe that, oh my God, are they dealing with UFOs or UAPs, or are they testing craft and using this as a cover story? What they're really doing and trying to say it's us or them up there? It keeps them second guessing, and it also makes them spend money on like the dome that President Trump wants to build. That makes them freak out. Like, how are we going to spend to counter that? It's all part of it. It's like a psyop. But now that I read it, this is the Wall Street Journal title. The Pentagon disinformation that fueled America's UFO mythology. The disinformation is they allowed it to fester and go be out there for the public to think it was UFOs. Meanwhile, truly, it was them doing some weapons programs. Which is not... They would love it to be that. When I read that, that's nothing new. I don't see anything new in this. The only thing that's new in this is they were testing top secret weapons on our own bases to see how it would react. Just like the Tic Tac. The Tic Tac, to me, it's ours. And there's a Russian scientist that was taken in. I can't talk too much about it. He was working on a propulsion system. And there's other people I've talked to that were engineers in our space program and development of certain things that say this is ours. And they were using that Nimitz group to test it on. And I find that very plausible. And I've been saying this for a while, ever since this whole thing came out. If this is an object, and Mark's talking about it now, like it's new. But he won't make the connection. He'll refuse to make the connection to what I was saying 4 years ago. You take an object, because I talked, like, right after that happened, like in 2018, I talked to two scientists, real, legitimate engineering scientists, one across and one here, that worked on space program and all kinds of stuff. No names being brought up. But say this is an object, this is a craft, and it's emitting a force around it. It's a new type of propulsion system. And this was Mark is talking about now with gravitons and going into other dimensions and all that. But it's emitting a force around it. It's inside, but it's emitting visually what we see as a smooth, nothing, no evidence of seams or anything around it. It just looks like a tic-tac, because that's what's visually being projected outside what's the bubble. Let's call it a bubble. That's what the bubble looks like from the energy that it's projecting outward around what's inside. It looks like a tic-tac to us visually. Like, what would a UFO look like thousands of years ago, spinning in space and spinning in the air? A wheel, because that's all they had as a reference. It looks similar to a wheel. Well, this looks similar to a freaking tic-tac, because that's how people would tie it together. It looks like a tic-tac. What the hell could that be? Well, it could be something inside emitting energy field around it and is able to move around, and the tic-tac shape stays around this object, emitting that energy. It's never going to shift, it's never going to change, but it's going to have the appearance of a tic-tac. Doesn't mean I'm going to eat it. Follow? And they wanted to see how its maneuverability and being picked up on radar and seeing how it would engage with our military, which were not armed. They were not. This is a drill. There's no live munitions, no live rounds. Does that make a lot more sense than it being an alien craft? Does it? To me, it makes a lot more sense. And maybe one day I'm going to bring that person on, at least one of them, and let them explain it to you. Because I have the contact. I can call that person right now. A scientist. A legit. Worked on stuff. I'm not even going to get into those details. But maybe I'll just let this person speak for themselves and explain to you the engineering behind such a thing. I mean, Mark was talking about something that we can do to enter another dimension and go in and out of it and pick the points of when we're going to come out of it using gravitons and all that. That's all I'm going to say on it. But, I mean, people, like I said, relevancy is important to a lot of people. Ego is driven. Oh my gosh. The ego is insane, actually, in some cases. There's no communicating. There is no communicating to them. It's their way or no way. I'm right. I'm in on it. I know what's going on. No, you don't. You really don't. If you think you know everything, you don't. Now, people, like I said, like John Burroughs, and, you know, I speak to him and been speaking to him quite often with the book that came out with Toby, with Martinez, and this whole thing that's dropping now. And John can go into the details. And he suffered, life-threatening to this day, what he experienced at Rendlesham. And they took responsibility of that. They said he suffered these injuries. It took him a very long time to go through McCain's office, and he was fortunate. There's many out there that are not. And there's many people trying to say they are similar to John. They're trying to copy, because they can't get to John. They've tried. John has just flat out said no. At least no to this point. And he's got the documentation. And they know that. That's something, that's a whole different ballgame, but we'll see how this goes. And like, I know Robert, I have never met him, but I know him, I spoke to him numerous times, Robert Salas. I am really curious to see how he responds. He already, like I said, put on X's rebuttal. It's going to be really curious. I'm really curious to see what Robert says and tonight on Martin's show. And I have a lot of stuff that Robert Salas sent me, including, and it's redacted a bit, I have his testimony when he was at Arrow. And his statement. And he's a dear friend, and his lovely wife. And I believe Robert. And I know that Robert believes it was a UFO. And he doesn't think it was an EMP test of some kind. And then we're going to see I'm curious to see what Gary has to say tonight on Martin's show. Because he just released a book about Rendlesham. Well, it's different when people have eyewitness accounts and evidence, but when you talk to a person like John Burroughs, who was there and suffered a medical, life-threatening, that's a game changer to me. People could write books and speculate all day, all night. It's their opinion. Oh, we did research on this and that. You have evidence, you have documents. And that's why I respect other people out there like, oh my God, I can't think of his name right now because he's like, I tried contacting him, but he didn't respond. So I just say, okay. But they try their best to get information from the government by doing FOIA requests. You know what I mean? They do their due diligence, and I give them credit for that. Or I give him credit for that. And I do. Give credit to where it's due. You're trying to get the information through FOIA. But when somebody's tipped off, you should do a FOIA on such and such a place to get such and such information, like what they did on David Grush. Because that person was tipped off. That's disgusting. To try to discredit the person. Because that's what it was done. That was a setup. They were totally manipulated and sucked in to get involved to do it, to do their dirty work for them, to make the guy look bad. Even though he was suffering from PTSD, they made him out to be something else. To try to destroy him, his credibility. That's horrible. So, I want to hear, and again, a first-hand witness. That would be like me. This is true. I seen something over on the ocean, colors. This is true. In Montauk, it lit up. The entire sky was flashing with different colors, and it was reflecting on the water on the bottom of the ocean. It was incredible. And I witnessed this to other people. I could call somebody that was there right now. Mom ran to the hotel room, so she's not a witness. She's seen it and she was gone. I seen something incredible. Over the ocean, in the sky, for a few minutes. I don't have pictures. This was like in 1999. I don't have evidence. I seen what I seen. And it was unbelievable. There is no explanation of what the hell I seen. Though, thanks to Chris Garitano sending me that deleted clip of a shark fisherman to the north looking south and seeing the same thing I witnessed off the beach. And that's, Chris was, when he heard my story, Chris was like, Bill, I got to send you this clip. You're not going to believe it. But this guy might have seen the same thing you've seen. I was like, oh, and I have that clip. But there's no evidence. I don't have physical evidence. I don't have photos or anything. It's just a story. And I know that. And until anything can be backed up with evidence, it's just a story. Until proven otherwise. That's why I feel so strongly about stuff. I experience stuff. I witness stuff. But I don't have evidence. The only evidence I have is that video that I got of something over my house. And even that's not good enough. But it's a lot better than the bullshit that people say, this is a UFO, this is a UAP. Their shit is such garbage, but it's put at such a standard. And I'm like saying, I got something that blows away your shit that is real. No doubt it's real, because I filmed it with a camera. It hasn't been altered. I mean, give me a break. And this ain't about me. This is about the general evidence. Evidence. We need evidence. I don't want to hear about the stories anymore. I could talk about my stories. Anybody that I know could talk about their stories. I know so many people that can talk about their experiences. There's so many. You know how many civilians are out there? It's always, well, this pilot saw this. This astronaut claims this. This top official says this. What? They're better than anybody else? You know how many people out there have experiences? And they're diminished as just being regular people that have no experience of what they're talking about, but so you're trying to diminish what they experienced? So their experience does not matter. That's bullshit, because there's a lot of people out there that have had experiences that fly under the radar. But again, without evidence, it's just a story. And just remember what happened during the Phoenix incident, where the governor gets somebody dressed up as an alien to come out and make a big joke of it, only later to state that something did actually happen. What? So who told you to play along with this? Who told you to do that? Did someone tell you to bring out a person dressed up as an alien? And make this a joke? But then later you change your tune? I mean, really, come on. Like I said, and I'll say it 1,000 times, I don't care what whistleblower comes forward. I don't care who they are and how great they think their shit don't stink when they say something to the public. Like we're supposed to be super impressed by their position that they had. Who cares? I do not care without evidence to back up what you're saying. Because you could just be part of this whole, because like I said, in general terms, there's so much mistrust and doubt of truth. How can we believe? And even like I said, even if you come out with evidence, people are going to question that evidence. The debunkers, the skeptics are going to come out and attack it immediately. They're going to be all over it, like flies on you know what. And they're going to try to say, well, that's fake. So where do we go? How does this evolve? I don't know. And I don't condone the behavior of individuals like a Snowden, who actually, via WikiLeaks releasing, remember the impact that had, all those documents, which has affected a lot of people criminally, releasing names, addresses, everything of people in government. When you do that, that's a crime. People worship him for releasing all that information. That's a crime. Yes, it put it made people realize what the hell was going on. You know, it revealed information, but it was real documentation. And I don't condone that behavior, but at least it was freaking documents that were released, that were confirmed. At least they were confirmed. Not like this nonsense where they talk without anything to back it up. It is, oh, we can discuss that more in a classified setting behind closed doors. But the public is not hearing anything. They're like, okay, so why can't you tell us? Show us something. We don't want to hear that. We don't want to hear this bullshit every time. I can't discuss that in a public forum. I can discuss it and behind closed doors in a classified. But is not anybody just tired of that bullshit? So unless there's a hearing coming forward next that we're actually going to find out some real information, then it's bullshit. I call on bullshit until proven wrong, until evidence is provided. Prove it. Prove it. Prove what you're saying is true. Prove it. Just don't say it like we're supposed to believe you, because nobody believes in this country anything that's going on anyway. So how the hell are we supposed to believe you? Because you were the... Are you kidding me? That's like saying, if a former CIA person comes out and says this, do you believe that person? Honestly, would you believe anything they have to say? Or would you think right away in your mind, they have an agenda. They have something that they want to do out here. Do you know what I mean? That's the first thing people can say. Why is this person saying this now? Why didn't they say it then? It make your head spin. What the hell? So, like I said, and believe me, for example, Travis Walton, I say this all the time. I believe Travis Walton 100, I would never say 1,000%, because 100% is good enough. Not 110, I believe Travis 100%. 100%. Now, what do you say to that? That wasn't at a base. That's why I said both can be true. People could have experiences that have nothing to do with being on a military base. Travis wasn't on a military base. What about that? So are we discounting all UAP stuff that ever happened? UFO, abductees, experiencers? Hell no. The point being made here, like with John Burroughs, he suffered an injury, a life-threatening injury at Rendlesham. What was the cause of it? Was it an interdimensional thing? Was it extraterrestrial? Was it time travelers? Or was it our government doing a test at a base and allowing the UFO thing to fester as a cover-up to the whole thing? Meanwhile, they were responsible for it. That's the bottom line. That's what this is about. And all those people that are going to say, no, this was UAP related. Do you have the evidence to provide that? Do you have the evidence? Or are you going to talk to somebody who was there firsthand, like John, who can tell you about the experience and tell you about what he suffered and tell you about what he went through McCain's office to get his records and get it so that he admitted
that it happened to him. Come on. That's a real witness. It happened to him directly. He was there. That's different. Now the question is, what exactly happened at Rendlesham? What was the cause? What caused his physical, life-threatening illness? Exactly. It doesn't explain all the other things that happened in history. No way. Betty and Barney Hill. Great case. What was that? That wasn't on a base. What do you think about all the other big cases? It had nothing to do with being on a military base. Did they witness? I mean, was the government doing an EMP test on a car? Like people driving on a road? So that's why I said when I first started this conversation, both can be true. This doesn't have to be, it's this or that. It's it did or didn't. Both can be true. Sometimes there's not one answer, but multiple. There's multiple things that are going on at the same time. It's almost like if I was, and this is a horrible analogy to use, if I was in negotiations with someone, that doesn't mean that aren't other parties involved behind the scenes too. There's multiple things going on at one time. I hate to use that. That's a very poor analogy, but there could be a lot of things going on at the same time. It doesn't have to be one simple answer. There could be many things going on at once. And I hope people aren't that close-minded to say, oh, everything could be explained by it was military tests. Or, oh, it's all aliens. We don't even know what we're dealing with here. Like I was saying earlier, the big thing going on around now, and people have changed their minds, they're going more interdimensional now. That's the conversation behind the scenes. It's going that direction now. Interdimensional. Yes, exactly. This is why this is a can of worms. Because if they were to admit that this was a test, oh my gosh. And that's why I don't think they'll ever do it. They're going to continue to deny and say, I am not commenting on that. It's as simple as that. Shut it down. No comment. I don't think they would even say, I can neither confirm or deny it, because that leaves that door open. Well, why can't you just deny straight out? No comment. Simple. Or I would deflect and say, well, you'll have to go ask the officials at the Pentagon about that. That's not my area. So now they go to the Pentagon and speak to a Pentagon official. We have no comment on, that's national security. It's a national security issue. And we're not commenting on that. That's it. Shut down. Done. End of story. Period. And let's just say a whistleblower comes forward and says, well, that's not true. They were testing. How do you know this? Oh, I witnessed it. Can you say that there is evidence? Yeah, but it's classified. Oh, so it's classified. And then we're in the same merry-go-round all over again, the declassification process, and it's not going to get declassified, so we're never going to find out anyway. So round the merry-go-round we go, around and round and round. Where it stops, never. It's that simple. This is not rocket science. You know what I'm saying? It happened right here. There's people in my community, the Hudson Valley. There was a big UFO case. Matter of fact, I went with Michael Schrott. We went investigating, talking to people. And, oh my God, where did we go? Mayo Pack? No, it wasn't Mayo Pack. Was it? I forgot where we went. And people said yes. I knew the police. The police had reports, and Mike was supposed to dig in. I don't know if he ever did. They even told us what police department to go to for the reports of what was being seen. And then there was an unsolved mysteries thing on that. And allegedly, again, they used decoy planes from Smallville, thinking of Superman now, Stormville, that took off in a formation with these lights on it to make it tell everybody, no, these were planes doing maneuvers, and that's the lights you've seen, to cover up what really happened. So what do you say about that? I mean, give me a break. So even though we're talking about the Wall Street Journal's article about weapons being used, that does not. That is such a small fraction of the overall, like you said, Genghis, of what's going on and all the other instances. So it might explain a very, very, very small percentage possibility that it was a weapons test. That doesn't explain the vast majority of all the other experiences and stories we've heard over the decades. It's complicated. Let me see. Then I'm going to go because I need to get out of here. I got to go before the other rain comes. But I always refer back to, and you probably know where I'm going. I spelled it wrong. I mean, I was on that. My God, let me go back. I'm trying to see if I have that video. I don't think. I'll just go to my channel. This one. This, my video. Remember the video. This looks more impressive than any of the bullshit I've seen released by certain parties. This was 2014. You tell me what the hell that is. And I don't want to hear the stupidity that's a meteor bouncing off the atmosphere. Maybe one person might say that, but the vast majority said that's either a drone or something else. Like a military drone. This is 2014 over my house. Look at the shape of that. It looks like a triangle. Now, this is definitely propulsion of some kind. Whatever this light is the propulsion system on this right here. And this was filmed on an old, oh my God, CCTV, Samsung. Oh my God, I forgot the model. 2000 or whatever it was. I took the IR filter out and I had it pointing up over my house. And if you look at let me lower the speed because people don't see it. They just don't see it. And you know what's the worst? When I show this to people and they just want to debunk it immediately, just to debunk it. And it's like they want to debunk it so bad. Look at the curve here. See this? This is slow motion. Look how it curves. Curves. And stops. Look at the line. and it gets here. It's curving. It's not going straight. It's turning. It's moving so fast. It's turning, stops, and gone. And actually, there's a piece here to show you where it starts at the beginning. Look, right there. It's coming down, coming back up, and here. You could see the curve. Whoop. And then it comes back up to here and out. Now, what the hell is that? What is that? It's a lot better than these bullshit videos I see that they claim to be true. I mean, let's be real. My video's better than a lot of video. And I'm supposed to believe the bullshit that they put out there, and I know how to use a camera, and I know when it's out of focus. Like, and Mark pointed that out perfectly. Remember the one that was filmed on a ship with the night vision, and it looked like it was out of focus? The camera was not in focus. It blurred it. It made it look like something that they're trying to say it was, and it wasn't. It's that simple. But this is as clear as day. What the hell is that? A drone? I'll buy a drone. I never said this was extraterrestrial. I just said unidentified. I don't know what that is. But it's pretty clear that it's one solid object. It's not a meteor that's breaking up into pieces. This thing is actually curving, not linear, not straight. It's curving. A meteor doesn't do that. It doesn't have that capability to make a turn and then curve and stop and then just bye-bye, power up and out of there. Come on now, let's stop. And I looped it. I zoomed in on it. I mean, that's real. That's not doctored. That's not fake. People might say this. I know the truth. That's all that matters, is what I know and I believe. And I know it's not a belief. This is real. I just don't know what it is. Astro, don't make me laugh. I'm in pain still. I've had I must have ate something bad. That's why I gotta get off. And I have a very bad sharp pain. It's going away, thank God, as I'm flushing out. I must have ate something bad. It's like I got maybe some food poisoning going on. Pine Bush. I don't know what the source is, but yesterday I was in such pain, like a fever. Today I'm feeling a little better, but it's like I couldn't even touch my side. That's how bad the pain was. But I'm moving, you know, and it's going away. So it's something I ate. So I got to go out and get, I have antacid pills, you know, like chewables. I want some Alka-Seltzer to really like, and maybe something else to flush my system out. I forgot the fiber. I forgot what it's called, but I got to maybe get that, clean my system out. But anyway, getting back to this, that's really interesting. But that's also evidence. It's evidence. It's more than anything has been done in a hearing, not some bullshit video that has been already debunked and proven to be bullshit. And it's a shame how people will put themselves out there saying it's this when it turns out to be a chandelier or a light reflection or whatever. Because, you know, the experts can look at it and determine what it is, really. The forensics of it. Before you start rushing out there and provide what you say is this or that or this, you better have that vetted and proven to be whatever you say it is before you open your mouth. And then 5 minutes later, it's proven to be, you know what? That's actually the chandelier inside the room, and you took the picture from inside a window, and that's the reflection of the chandelier on the glass, and it looks like it's outside, but it's really coming from inside. And nobody's vetting it? you don't have nobody telling you that what that is? You didn't ask anyone? You didn't go to anyone that has expertise in that to distinct. If that's like me, if I capture something on a Skywatch tomorrow, I'm going to Mark. I'm going not just to Mark. I have actually 5 people, at least 5, that I can show my video to with their expertise. So I'm going to get multiple opinions. I want to hear what everyone has to say that I'm going to go to. I'm not just going to go to one. I'm going to go to numerous. I want to hear what they have to say. And I'm already talking to certain people that if I ever was to capture something, who do I release it to? That I know it's going to get out there. Well, I have a few. And do I want, and I said this to them, you know how people want clickbait? I don't want no money for it. 0. Mark my words when I say that. This is live and recorded. What's today's date? 10th of June, 2025, and I make that statement. If I was to catch something that is undeniable, it's going to be released for free for the public. Not that I'm going to charge 100,000, 10,000, because it's all about the money. It's not about the money. It's about the truth. Screw that. That's what it's about. Those are, because a lot of people do this for the money, obviously. I am not doing that. Do you see what I'm saying? That shows where you're coming from, your true intention. The truth is the true intention. Not how many books you sell or how popular you want to be or how ego-driven you are. It's getting to the truth. And yes, some people make a living of this and they depend on their source of income to work and do this. I get that. Obviously. But to me, it's about getting the truth out there, period. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm trying to figure out a way I could do it if that ever were to happen, where I can trust where I go to as a contact to get it out to the public. And I don't want it. I want it just out there. Bottom line. Because if you start saying, could you imagine? Oh, they did it for the money. No, that didn't happen for the money. See what I'm saying? Because they'll try to figure out any way to destroy it. Well, it wasn't for the money, so what was it for? For the truth. That speaks more power to it than anything else to me. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'm already, in the event, God forbid, that I'm doing a Skywatch and we see something extraordinary. And I'm not talking about just way up there and we can't tell what the hell it is. I'm talking about something that's undeniable. You never know. It may never happen. The chances are it won't. But if it does, who do I go to? Who can I trust? Now, believe it or not, I'm part of this network that I could just have the guys do it. I might just put it up on KGRA. And just do it that way. I mean, I am the program director. What better place to do it than on the network, right? Now, who knows? I mean, that would be the most logical place to do it, right? Is put it on a show. It's my easiest way. I mean, I have the resources. I have the outlets to do it on. And maybe, and all these agencies, it's watermarked. It's KGRA property. You're going to have to go to KGRA. How's that? You work it out with them. And good morning, Fringe. I see the both of you are in here now. Oh, and I was pushing. It was funny. I had company here. Friday night, and she used to when she was young. She used to do the dancing, the Irish dancing. She was like an expert. And I brought up that artist. Oh my God, I love her. And it turned into a whole big deal. I can't remember her name right now. But she knew it right away. Oh my God, I love her. So that actually happened in my house. Alex is her name. It's Chantal's sister. And she was taught by, it's a long story. I would have Chantal talk about it, but that's private too. That's her sister. That's for her sister to discuss. But it's like a small world. I was like, holy sh. Anyway, I need to go. I got to go to the store. It's 10:30 already. I need to go out, take care of business, and make some phone calls and get ready for tonight's shows. So I hope everybody, Genghis, anybody else who's around, have a great morning. Fringe and Astro, of course. Anybody else who may be watching. Be well, be blessed, be safe. And maybe I'll be back tonight. Who knows what I'm going to end up doing. But wait, what artist are you talking about? The one you turned me on to. The Celtic artist. The female. I can't remember her name right now. The one you showed me that was awesome. And your husband says, oh, I heard that my wife turned you on to that Celtic artist. I said, yep, and I love it. McKinnon, thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes, McKinnon, yes. Awesome. I got her whole album from that Lorena. I knew it was something like that. Lorena McKinnon. I downloaded her whole album. Yes, I do have it. The whole album. And I love it. It's certain thing, I got to be in the mood for that. You know, it has to, it's a setting mood kind of a thing for me. But it has its moment or moments when that's appropriate to like what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But have a great one to both of you. To anybody who may be watching, be well, be blessed, be safe. See everybody later on tonight.